About a month, kids will start returning to the classroom, and that means it's time for parents to start thinking about back-to-school shopping.
And one thing parents need to be considering is food safety for some of those school lunches. To help, we're joined live by USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service Specialist Kenneth King. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I know parents are starting to think about those routines, getting back into the back-to-school routine. Food safety and school lunches isn't something I've necessarily thought about before. What's the importance here?
Right, so food safety, especially during back to school, is very important. We do know that children, especially young children, are one of the most at-risk groups for foodborne illness. So we want to make sure that everyone is just staying food safe and they have a healthy school year.
When you're thinking about your shopping list in preparation for those school lunches, what are some of the things that you should think about when you're at the supermarket? What do you need to have on that shopping list?
That's a great question. So one of the things that should be on that back to school list is hand sanitizer. We do know that hand washing is the first step to food safety and just being clean. And this goes a long way to avoiding foodborne illness. Germs tend to spread very quickly in schools. So we want to make sure that we're reminding our children to wash their hands. And if for whatever reason they can't wash their hands, that hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol will go a long way to keeping them safe.
We see some other ideas here, insulated lunch boxes, some of those cold packs. Talk about some of the ways to really pack food so that it stays a safe temperature.
Right. When it comes to insulated lunch boxes, these go a long way to keeping our food safe because they keep the cold air inside of the lunch box. And this is, of course, with a cold source like a frozen gel pack, an ice pack, anything that's going to keep that food cold. Unfortunately, we have seen a lot of kids with the brown paper lunch bags. Unfortunately, the brown paper lunch bags do not keep the cold air in the food, even with an ice source. And oftentimes, as that gel pack or the ice pack begins to thaw, it causes the bag to get wet and then holes open up in the bag and the cold air is gone. And that food can go bad pretty quickly. So we want to make sure that we are adding a insulated lunchbox to our back to school list if we don't have one already, along with ice packs and gel packs to keep our food cold and safe.
Are there any foods that you should just avoid packing in a lunch for food safety reasons?
That's a great question. So the main thing we want is just to make sure that the food is kept cold if it's a cold food, or if it's a hot food that it's kept hot, as in putting that food into an insulated container to keep it warm. But when it comes to foods to be avoided, it's mostly as long as the food is just being kept safe. So we want to keep it cold or keep it hot, and that way it'll be safe to eat by lunchtime.
And some of that starts even with the initial preparation. If you're making those lunches the night before, making sure that things are cooked adequately or prepared the right way, what are some ways to make sure that your food preparation is safe as well?
Right, so we always recommend to use a food thermometer to measure the safe internal temperature of your food. So for example, if you're cooking chicken and this is what your child will be having for lunch, you want to make sure that that chicken is fully cooked, and you can do this by using a food thermometer to make sure that it's reached the safe internal temperature of 165 degrees. Another tip when it comes to preparing lunch, besides using food thermometers, is just, of course, making sure that that food is placed back in the refrigerator. So, for example, if you're preparing your lunch the night before school, just be sure to place that lunchbox back in the refrigerator. That way it's kept cold overnight. So in the morning time when we're rushing to get to the school bus or take our kids to school, we can just grab the lunch to go and it'll be safe to eat.
I'm just kind of curious, since we're on this subject, did you have a favorite school lunch when you were coming up?
I probably a bit of everything, but if I had to choose one thing, definitely I'd say chicken tenders. Yeah.
Chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders.
Those are good.
Chicken nuggets, always a popular one.
All right. Well, thank you. Where can parents go for more information on this?
So for anything food safety related, you can visit our website, foodsafety.gov. We have information about food recalls, safe internal temperature of foods, back to school food safety, and everything you need to know on foodsafety.gov.
All right. Kenneth King with the USDA. Thanks for joining us on AM Extra.
Thank you.